Off Campus actually ended up being way deeper than people expected. At first, it looks like a normal college romance series. You know, hockey players, fake dating, parties, hookups, drama, the usual. But by the time the season ends, you realize this story was never just about romance. It's really about healing. Healing from trauma, healing from pressure, healing from expectations, and learning how to let somebody truly see you. And honestly, that's why the relationship between Garrett and Hannah worked so well, because both of them started the season pretending to be someone else, and by the end, they finally stopped pretending. So in this video, we're going to break down the entire first season of Off Campus, explain the ending, talk about the biggest emotional moments, the hidden themes, and also what season 2 might look like after that finale. Let's get into it. Now on the surface, Off Campus feels like a very familiar setup. Garrett Graham is the classic college star athlete. He's confident, popular, a hockey superstar. Basically the guy everybody knows on campus. Meanwhile, Hannah Wells is almost the opposite. She's quieter, more reserved, focused on music. And unlike everybody else around Garrett, she's not impressed by him at all. And that instantly becomes the most important thing in the story. Because Garrett is used to attention, used to girls wanting him, used to being treated like a celebrity. But Hannah sees right through him, and that's what makes him interested. Now the show introduces their relationship through the fake dating setup. Garrett needs help academically. Hannah wants help getting closer to Justin. So they create this arrangement that's supposed to benefit both of them. Classic fake relationship trope. But the reason it works here is because the show slowly stops making it feel fake. The longer they spend together, the more they accidentally become real with each other. One of the biggest misunderstandings people have about this show is thinking Garrett only liked Hannah because she was different. That's only part of it. The real reason Garrett falls for Hannah is because she becomes the first person around him who makes him feel normal. Everybody else sees Garrett Graham, the hockey star, but Hannah sees Garrett the person. And throughout the season, we start realizing how exhausted Garrett actually is. His father pressures him constantly. People expect perfection from him. His entire identity revolves around hockey. Even his relationships feel performative sometimes. But Hannah creates a space where he doesn't have to perform. And the show subtly shows this through smaller scenes more than big dramatic moments. Like when they're studying together, talking late at night, having awkward, honest conversations. Those moments matter more than the flashy romance scenes. Because that's where Garrett actually starts changing. Now this is where Off Campus becomes more serious than people expected. Hannah's trauma becomes one of the emotional foundations of the entire story. The series deals with her past assault carefully throughout the season, and honestly, this changes how we understand almost every interaction she has. Because Hannah isn't just shy. She's guarded. There's a difference. She keeps emotional distance because vulnerability feels dangerous to her. And that's why Garrett becoming patient matters so much. In another version of this story, Garrett could have just been written as the stereotypical cocky athlete. But the show makes an important decision. It allows him to listen, to slow down, to actually care about Hannah's comfort. And that's why their relationship gradually becomes healing instead of toxic. Not perfect, not magically fixing trauma, but healing. That distinction matters. One thing the show does very well is making the transition from fake dating to real feelings feel believable. Because neither of them realizes when it changes. That's realistic. Real feelings usually don't arrive dramatically. They sneak up on you. And you see that especially during the house party episodes and the moments where they're forced into close proximity. At first, they're pretending for other people. Then suddenly, they start caring about each other privately. And that's the emotional shift. The fake relationship stops being about appearances and starts becoming emotional dependency. Garrett starts needing Hannah emotionally. Hannah starts feeling safe around Garrett. And that scares both of them. Justin is actually more important than people realize, because he represents the version of romance Hannah thought she wanted. He's artistic, cool, mysterious, basically the fantasy. But Garrett becomes the reality, and that's the difference the season keeps building toward. Justin is the crush. Garrett becomes the partner. And I think the show intentionally uses Justin to contrast emotional intimacy versus surface attraction. Because Hannah initially thinks she wants someone like Justin, but Garrett becomes the person who actually understands her. And that realization slowly destroys the emotional purpose of the fake dating arrangement. One thing people underestimate about off-campus is how important the friendships are. The hockey team isn't just background decoration. The team represents family, especially for Garrett. And the chemistry between the guys gives the show energy outside the romance. You can already feel the setup for future seasons through Logan, Tucker, Dean, and the rest of the group. The series clearly wants viewers to become attached to the entire friend dynamic, not just the main couple, which makes sense because the original books focus on different relationships over time. Off-campus +1, so even when the season focuses heavily on Hannah and Garrett, the show is quietly building a larger emotional universe. The biggest theme in Off-campus is identity. Almost every major character is trapped by expectations. Garrett is trapped by hockey and family pressure. Hannah is trapped by trauma and fear. Justin is trapped by image. Even the friend group constantly hides insecurities behind confidence, and college becomes the perfect setting for that. Because college is basically the moment where people start deciding who they really are. That's why the title Off Campus actually works symbolically too. It's not just referring to the house. It's about stepping outside the versions of yourself that everybody expects. Now let's talk about that ending. By the final episodes, the emotional walls between Hannah and Garrett are basically gone. But the ending isn't really about whether they love each other. We already know they do. The real question is whether they're emotionally ready for real vulnerability, and that's what the finale tests. Garrett has to stop trying to solve everything through confidence and control. Hannah has to decide whether she can fully trust somebody again. That's the emotional climax. Not hockey, not parties, not drama, trust. And the reason the ending feels satisfying is because the relationship finally stops being transactional. At the beginning, she tutors him. He helps her socially. Everything is conditional. But by the end, they choose each other freely. No deal, no arrangement, no fake dating, just love. And that's why the ending works emotionally. The ending is basically telling us that healing doesn't happen alone. And I think that's the central message of the season. Hannah doesn't magically become fearless. Garrett doesn't magically become perfect. But they become safer versions of themselves together. And honestly, that's a healthier message than most romance shows give. Because Off-Campus never claims love erases trauma. Instead, it's just real love creates safety. That's a huge difference. I think the reason this series exploded online so quickly is because people expected something shallow. But emotionally, the story is surprisingly sincere. The chemistry feels natural. The vulnerability feels believable. And the quieter scenes often work better than the dramatic ones. Plus, the fake dating trope is basically internet gold when executed correctly. And Off-Campus understood exactly what audience it wanted. Now, obviously, fans of the books have already noticed some major differences. Some viewers on Reddit actually complained that the adaptation changed too much from the original novels. Reddit +1, but adaptations always face this problem. The books and TV versions are trying to create different experiences. And honestly, the show seems more focused on emotional atmosphere and character chemistry than exact scene recreation. That's why some changes work better on screen than they would in a novel. The interesting thing is that Season 2 was renewed extremely early. Which tells you Prime Video clearly has confidence in this franchise. And if the show follows the books, future seasons will probably shift focus toward different couples while keeping the same friend group connected. That's actually smart, long-term storytelling, because it allows the universe to grow without forcing the same romance forever. But emotionally, Garrett and Hannah will probably remain the heart of the series. So overall, Off-Campus Season 1 works because underneath the romance tropes, it understands emotional vulnerability. It's not just about attraction, it's about being understood. And that's why Garrett and Hannah became such a strong pairing. They didn't complete each other, they revealed each other. And honestly, that's probably why the ending hit so hard for so many people. What did you think about Off-Campus Season 1? Did the ending work for you? Who was your favorite character? And are you excited for Season 2? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more ending explained videos just like this one.